Get on my little meeting.
Hey, Vanessa, did you claim host yet?
No, I didn't.
I'll do that then. It's not letting me claim host.
Sorry about this, but my camera doesn't seem to be working right now. I'm trying to fix it, but it's just not like working at all.
No worries, you're here, so that counts. Vanessa, you almost ready to start?
Yeah, I'm ready to start. Should we wait for a few more people, or do you think we're all set?
I think we're good to go.
Okay, sounds good. So welcome to today's Youth Council meeting. It's April 27th, 2023. It's currently 8:03, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Okay, so first, attendance. So just say here when I say your name. Ahmed Othman,
Here.
Alia Tui,
Here.
Allah Othman,
Here.
Dhruvi Upmanu, Elizabeth said she wasn't gonna be here. Juliana Swalling,
Here.
Madeline Naper,
Here.
Maya Pollock,
Here.
Matt O'Brien,
Here.
Olivia Wall,
Olivia's at, she
She
told me she couldn't be here. Vanessa,
Okay,
can you
and
hear
Vanessa,
an echo?
I can't hear an echo. I don't know.
Okay, then it's only on me.
Does
I
anyone
hear
hear
an
an
echo too.
Oh, Vanessa, it might be your audio. Are you listening in a place? Do you have it on a different speaker?
Yeah, I can try connecting from a different device if that's better.
Let me try. Yeah, now I still hear the echo. I think it's on your end, Vanessa.
Is it okay if I leave the meeting and join on a different device?
Yeah, that works. Thomas, can you say something? So,
Is there an echo?
okay, all right. No, I don't hear the echo anymore. So I think it was on Vanessa's end. Do you guys agree?
Yep, sounds better now.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Counselor Shines, who's driving and listening. Okay, so Vanessa's going to rejoin on a different device. We got the wrong host key, so hopefully I'll be able to share when it further on in the agenda. So we're just waiting for Vanessa to rejoin.
Okay, is this better, guys?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I think we left off on, so Paige said she wasn't gonna be here, and then is Sadie here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sophia Panaghetti. No. And then Thomas Baronato.
Here.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? No.
Hi, I'm a city council, or I'm a high schooler in Melrose interning with a city councilor there, trying to set up a youth council similar to what you have here. So I'm just sitting in on this to see what it's like. I'm interested in learning more about how it works, what you guys do, etc.
Yeah,
Glad to
we're
be
glad
here.
to have you. If you have any questions throughout the meeting or after the meeting, I think you already have my email, but feel free to just like chime in whenever if you want more information. Okay, so we'll
Thank
move
you.
on to the approval of meeting minutes. So we have two of them because I know a while ago we had some recording issues with the November meeting. So we'll be approving those minutes and then also our last meeting, which was April 5th. So Ali, do you want to give an update?
Yes, so thank you. So Catherine, I don't know if you sent me the November 9th minute.
I did not send you the November 9th minutes, so I still have to finish those up.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't realize we need to approve them for tonight. So
Okay, yeah,
it's on
yeah,
my
that's
to-do list. Okay.
that's fine. So I'll just go over the April 5th minutes. So our meeting was called into order at 7:00 p.m. We approved the March 2nd meeting minutes after a brief summary, and then Recreation Department Director Dan McGrath presented to us on the continued relationship between the council and the department, and what each can do to continue working together, highlighting the past work that we've done with them in regards to in regards to keeping recreational spaces clean and sort of continuing that work. And we also talked about how to get better engagement from middle to high school aged residents on rec department programs. And we just talked about some of those different activities and programs that could be offered that would interest people from our age group. And then we talked about the Recycling and Sustainability Day event that was run by State Representative Kate Liber-Garabedian, talking about having a youth council table there. And then we spoke about the Warrior Cleanup that the Youth Council is partnering with the Warrior Cleanup crew to do. I spoke about what I've heard from Maggie Schaffer, who is the head of the Warrior Cleanup crew, and just providing updates on that. In regards to liaison updates, we briefly spoke about the coffee social happening in regards to the veterans, in regards to Veterans Agent David Mangan reaching out. Then there was a brief communications outreach subcommittee update talking about the youth interest survey, the new high school project Instagram reels that we had done, and voter registration and town election. And then an announcement was given by town councilor Chines, explaining what the town council has been doing recently, and talking also about the upcoming election and talking about how to be an informed voter. And then we adjourned unanimously. So thank you. And does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting?
I
So
motion.
moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, just say yes or no. I'm just gonna go down the list. So, Ahmed Othman,
Yes.
Aliyah Tui,
Yes.
Ala Othman,
Yes.
Juliana Spalding,
Yes.
Madeline Naper,
Yes.
Maya Paula,
Yes.
Matt O'Brien,
Yes.
Sadie Lomnack,
Yes.
and Thomas Baronato.
Yes.
Okay. Next on our list is the vocational school building project presentation. I don't think we have any guests for this, but Catherine, can you give us an update?
So, sure, Vanessa, when we were going to meet during the day, they were going to be able to come, but the 8 o'clock meeting was a little tricky. I am going to try to share my screen. I had the opportunity to, oh, I cannot share my screen. That's not because the sharing claiming coast code is not working. But basically, I had a conversation with the town engineer today to talk about some of the concerns that some of the youth council members heard about at the sustainability event. And one of the things that we heard about was some of the environmental impacts. So one of the things that, can you hold on just a moment? So, sorry, it was a little loud in my house. So what some of the concerns are about where the stormwater is going to go with the new building, and that they're trying to address the stormwater, because what's happening with the new Voc is they're clear cutting a new area, and so there's going to be potential for a lot of stormwater runoff because the trees are no longer there. There's more pavement with parking spaces and roadways and everything. So that's something that they're looking at. And so the Engineering and the Conservation Commission has been doing a peer review on the stormwater and has things angled towards a vernal pool. So they've done a lot of working with the Northeast Voc technical community, Northeast Voc building committee to look at the design of the everything from the roofs, so they angle towards that vernal pool, looking at the pavement of the parking lots, using not salt, but using more environmentally sustainable ways to when they do snow removal. So there's a lot that they're trying to do to kind of hinder some of the environmental impacts of this new building. And then the town engineer is also our ADA compliant officer. So they're really looking at how is this new building going to be more ADA compliant than the last one? And one of the big things that has come up is that with this being on a hilltop location, it having a ramp system to get up to the new building, but they're putting in a brake system, a brake spot halfway up through the ramp, but that the new building does improve accessibility to all floors, because the current building only is ADA compliant on the first floor, and people can't get to the second floors who may be in wheelchairs or have other mobility issues. And the new classrooms have turning radiuses for wheelchairs. The bathrooms are ADA compliant. So overall, the building will be better, but there were some issues on accessibility, and the engineering department is working on that. So they really are the town is trying to strike a happy, trying to work towards a balance on what the school builders want and what is going to be best for the environment and the community as a whole. So I'll let Councillor Chines jump in with any other updates. I wish I had the picture, but the sharing code doesn't work, so you can't see the new building I had planned to be up. But Councillor Chines, do you want to add in on anything?
Maybe just to give a little bit of context as to where in the process this all is, because one of the things certainly that I've learned as we've kind of gone through our own high school building project and getting to the place where we are, but also, you know, following the vocational school building project, is that there's actually a multi-year series of steps to get to the place where we're having the discussions that we're having right now. So just as context, this project has been in flight for almost 5 years now. The way that school building processes work in Massachusetts is that if you want state funding for a school, which most communities do, you actually submit an application to the Massachusetts School Building Authority, and then based on the level of need for that building, they'll either kind of invite you into what's called a feasibility study process, or they'll say, you know, no thanks, you're not ready, come back in another year. So over the last couple of years, the vocational school district has been going through a feasibility study where they looked at multiple different building sites on the vocational school property, you know, different configurations of the building on each of those sites. And then, you know, by working with their architects and their engineers, ultimately came to a decision as to which option was most feasible. And that's the option that has been proposed on the hillside where the woods are right now. Once that got sort of finalized and then got through the next step in the school building authority's process, it then went to each of the 12 towns that are part of the vocational school district for approval. And so that took place in 2 different areas. There was a town meeting vote last year in Wakefield and in all of the other towns in the district. And then that was followed by a district-wide vote to approve the project. So that's kind of what got us to where we are now. Where the project is now is that it's effectively going through permitting. So the project's been approved in terms of the design and the funding, but you know, what it needs now to do is go through the process of getting approval from all of the various committees in Wakefield that control buildings. So that includes the Zoning Board of Appeals. And in this case, probably the more significant one is the Conservation Commission. So all of these sort of environmental impacts that Catherine talked about, what the Conservation Commission does is they work through all of those impacts, work with the designers, the architects, and the engineers for the school, and then ultimately we'll have basically a set of changes that they'll request for the school to move forward from a permitting process. So that's the work that's underway, you know, as we think about, you know, drainage issues and where the water will go and conditions around use of salt and so forth. Once that process is finished, effectively then they will have the clearance to kind of actually start construction and start building, and then there'll be a couple of years of that process. So I just wanted to share that because it is, you know, this has been something that's been out in discussion from a public standpoint for a while. It's been a few years. There's still a few more years of work ahead, but I just wanted to kind of put that all in context so that everyone understands sort of where it is and how we've gotten to where we are today. I don't know if that's helpful or if you have any questions. And I also do apologize. I am in the car, so if I'm hard to hear, I'm sorry about that.
That was really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, we should have had you go first because I had a crash course on it. But it is interesting to see the new design of the building and how there will now be 2 roundabouts on Farm Street and some other ways that it'll impact that whole area of Breakheart, the high school, Northeast Folk.
Ahmed, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I think about a month ago I attended a meeting for the vocational school, based on like a sustainability standpoint. I think the only like main concern they currently have is just the ramps in the woods and how much like of the forest they're trying to conserve. But other than that, I think the school is like going through the process relatively easy.
I was kind of wondering, Mr. Trends, like with the long process for the Voc trying to get their school to like actually become a building. Like in terms of the new Wakefield building, like where does that stand to?
Sure. So we're about a year and a half behind the VOC in terms of the process. So we've just gone through with the vote that we had back in March. We've just gone through the approval process that the vocational school went through last year. And so now what we're getting into is the process of getting an actual sort of engineering design in place. So we've done what's called the schematic design, which is really just like a high level sort of vision about what the building will look like, where things will go, and so forth. Now we actually have to get to sort of the next level of detail where we have a set of architectural and engineering plans that they can actually build something off of. So that process is kicking off now. It actually kicked off basically the Monday after the vote passed. And so over the course of the next probably 6 to 8 months or so, the engineers and the architects that we've hired, the construction manager, will all be working on kind of getting what is kind of a schematic design and putting it onto paper in a way that it can actually, we can build something. As we get towards the end of that process, we'll also have to go through some of the building approval processes that the vocational school is going through right now. So there are things about the school that will have to go in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals for their approval and in front of the Conservation Commission. So that'll probably happen for the Wakefield High School, sometime early to middle of 2024. And then once we get the approvals through there, then we'd be ready to start construction. So again, about a year, maybe 18 months behind where the vocational school is in the process.
Thank you so much. Were there any other questions about the VOC before we move on? No? Okay, so the next item is the Recycling and Sustainability Day recap. So just as a reminder, it took place on April 8th, and we made a raffle basket with sustainability items for people that like followed us on social media, and then they gave us their like name and number, and we just picked one. And so I made a brochure also about the youth council that we could use for other events, just saying like kind of what we do and who we are, because like we said at the last meeting, we can commonly get like confused with the youth action team or different things like that. So kind of straighten it out, we made that brochure. And then Catherine, myself, Juliana, and Ali volunteered to table the event, so it was really nice. Catherine, I don't know if you had any extra comments.
No, I just think it was, I think probably that brochure was one of the best things to come out of it. And then some of the conversations we had with some of the other community partners that are there. And I think Rep. Kate got to know a bit more about the youth council, and that was helpful because she might be able to come to an upcoming meeting.
Yeah, I think it was a successful meeting. One question that I know when I was there with Juliana, we got like if we could like take donations or like how that would work. And I didn't know, like we just said no, but like for future reference, like I wasn't sure how that would like be.
So actually the youth council can take donations, and they can go before town council to be accepted. So we do have a special budget line for when youth council does get donations, because I think you've gotten over $500 worth of donations in the past few years, especially because of the Snow Angels projects. A lot of the seniors who benefited from that have donated to the youth council. So yes, we can take donations.
So if someone wanted to give us a donation, like how would they go about doing that? Just if I get that question in the future.
Great question. So, I mean, they can reach out to me. In the past, they have given checks, or in the case of the Council on Aging cash too, but we just have a very defined process of how we capture that, and then the donation gets presented to town council. But that is how we funded part of the sweatshirts.
Okay. I was also wondering, like, on the same lines of like budget, when town council gets like gives out the budgets for each of the councils and things like that, are we included in that process?
That's a great question. We actually do not have a budget. So, but I don't know, Councillor Chines, do boards and committees typically get a budget?
So it varies based on the board or committee. So there are some committees that actually have reasonably sizable budgets because of the type of work that they do. So an example is the Zoning Board of Appeals. They actually have a budget that's reasonably substantial because, they have to hire, experts to do, certain evaluations of different proposals that come in front of them. They actually also collect revenue because if you file for a building permit or a special permit that has to go in front of that board, there's a fee for that. There are a lot of committees that don't have budgets, including the Youth Council. And then there are a handful of committees that have, relatively small budgets. So, for example, the Human Rights Commission has, I want to say, maybe a budget of $1,000 or $2,000 that's used to, kind of underwrite some of the events that they put together, like the pride flag raising and things like that. So it varies. I know I had shared with a couple members of the Youth Council. So we're kind of at the end of the budget process for fiscal year 2024, which starts on July 1st of 2023 and runs till June 30th of 2024. But as we look ahead to the next budget process for fiscal year 2025, if there are sort of budget requests that the Youth Council would want to make, or if there are things that you want to do that you need funds for, please reach out to me. I would say sort of before the end of this calendar year. That's actually when the budget process starts, so that if that's something that we can put in a request in and kind of consider through the normal budget process, happy to bring that to the right folks.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we could maybe discuss that at a later date. I don't know, Catherine, if you'd be interested in following up on that.
Yeah, we can definitely explore that, because what happens now is that if we, like, some of the things that we have purchased, such as like our tablecloth for events and things like that, I've leveraged other grant funds that are youth focused to do that. But it would, we might want to explore if it's possible to have a small budget and what that would entail in developing a proposal.
Yeah, that sounds good. Were there any last comments about the recycling day event? Okay. So then moving on to a related topic, the Warrior Cleanup. So, just as a recap, it will be taking place on May 20th from 10 a.m. to noon. And the rain date is the next day, so May 21st. So Ali has been in contact with the head of the Warrior Cleanup crew, Maggie Schaffer. And so we posted the flyer on Facebook and our Instagram. And so I was thinking we could also help them promote the event by maybe posting on Patch, or I don't know if we could put it in the daily item for people to hear about it maybe, or flyers around the school, or maybe school announcements. Ali, do you have an update about how far we are in the process of this event, and what Maggie, do you have an update for Maggie?
Yes, actually I do. So Maggie, Ahmed, and I will be meeting after school on May 1st to film a video for the event, a promotional video for the event. that she said that is in coordination with WCAT, that they filmed the video for us and then we're able to use it to promote the event. So that will be taking place. And yes, and hold on, I'm just checking my notes. Yes, and then the other thing that I wanted to say was that, and you touched on this too, Vanessa, having a flyer for the event definitely is something that I've been working on with Maggie, and that hopefully will be finalized very soon. Because we do have the digital flyer, but something that we could hang around the schools and potentially even the kiosks around the town would be great. And I really like that you spoke about Patch and potentially doing the daily item too, because I feel like those are other outlets that we could use to promote. So I can definitely reach out to some people there to see what they can do for that. And I think that is, yes, and also morning announcements too. As we get closer to the event, I think that would be great too. So that's all I have for that.
Ollie, I was going to say, did you reach out to the rec department?
Oh, yes, and that's the other thing.
I
Yes.
was about to say, because that email went out to all the rec subscribers. So I think that email, my husband actually forwarded it to me and said, oh, the boys should do this. And I said, oh, that's great. So the word is definitely getting out to over 2,000 rec subscribers too.
Yes.
So great job promoting it. I've seen it multiple places.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I reached out to Dan McGrath about that, and he was very happy to share that with all the subscribers to the rec department. So that was great.
Yeah, I think that is a great idea, especially because they do have a lot of followers. So in the future, I feel like we need to remember that, and maybe we could send some stuff over their way too to help promote future events. Okay, moving on. We have the youth council applications for next school year. So that's the 2023-24 year, because our terms are coming to a close soon. Catherine, did you want to go over like the application process and more information on that?
Yep. So the application process is up on the town's website. And the application is actually due. So even if you're already on the youth council and you want to reapply, you need to fill out the application. And then for new applicants as well. And it's due May 10th. So it's a really short time period. And I know they've only gotten one new applicant and no reapplicants. So we really have to promote the youth council. And that's the only thing is I feel like it's a busy time of year and we haven't done a ton of marketing for it. So I was wondering, Councillor Chines, what we think about that timeline. Is there a way to push it out, or I don't know if he's still on. Oh, there he is.
So I'm still on. So I think the reason for the timeline was, in the past, what's happened is that after the applications have come in, I think in prior years, the graduating seniors or some sort of subgroup of the youth council have kind of met and actually interviewed some of the applicants and made kind of a set of recommendations as to appointments for the prior year. So I think the reason for the May 10th due date, given that your terms technically expire at the end of June, was just to make sure that there was enough time for you guys, as the youth council, to look at the applications, and then if you choose to make recommendations to the town council, to kind of get that in time before we have to vote prior to June 30th. I want to say we only have one meeting in June. So that, I think that's the other kind of time constraint where May 10th feels early, but there's actually a lot that happens between now and when your terms expire in June.
Okay, so if we don't get enough applicants by May 10th, can we then extend it?
So what we did last year was we didn't extend the application, but we did open up another application period. So I think we would do that again if that's where we find ourselves.
Okay, so we'll work on promoting. So Ollie, I think this is the next big thing for the communications subcommittee, is work on promoting the youth council openings. And then what I can do is what I did last year is send it to all the to Jason Pavey, who's the 5 through 12 social studies and civics curriculum coordinator, and have him kind of help me come up with a strategy to get the word out to the schools. But you all are going to be key to telling friends and promoting in different ways.
Yes, definitely. I wanted to touch on this too, about what you just said with Jason Pavey too. I feel like that's a really important way to really get an up close interaction almost, and like, because teachers are well trusted figures, especially in the history department, since it relates to civics. I feel like that's a great way to promote this and really get into it with students about this. And I wanted to say that, yes, this is important for the subcommittee to take on, and that I'll be reaching out to my liaison, Jen McDonald, to help create an engaging flyer that includes like a QR code, can be posted around town on the kiosks, hung up in schools, posted on our social media, to really promote this event and get a substantial amount of applicants. So yeah.
And then we can when is do you know when your next communication subcommittee is gonna be?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to be sending out the agenda tomorrow, because yeah, it's going to be next week. Yeah, and I already have the doodle poll up, and yes, the agenda will be up by tomorrow.
Also, I think again with the school announcements, I think that would be good. And I don't know if like Druvy or maybe you yourself could also get them to the middle school too, because I think if we had more middle school members, that would be good if they, got interested and then they stayed all 4 years of high school too. But just an idea. Madeline, did you have anything?
Yeah, so something that came to mind was recently the Unity Day Assembly. They had a table to promote it in the cafeteria during both lunches. And I didn't know if that was something that we might want to look into and like have the flyers to give out to people. Because I know that was something that got a lot of people talking about it and getting the word out, because everyone has to go to lunch. So everyone had to walk past that table. And I think that might be a good way to get it out to people who maybe like don't listen to the morning announcements or don't stop to look at flyers in the hallway.
Yeah, and I feel like that's another great opportunity to showcase like the brochures that Vanessa made, because it can show people like what we do, why people should consider applying to join us. And we can use QR codes that they can just quickly scan to get to the application portal. So I feel like that would be a great way too. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I also think that's a good idea. Like, not only saying that we're accepting like applicants, but also kind of saying like, okay, well, if you applied, like, what would you be doing and kind of what does it entail? So maybe if we took kind of like the brochure idea, and then created it into like an Instagram post or something like that, just like using that same style of information, I guess.
And Ollie, one thing too is maybe you could reach out to some alumni and get quotes from them, because a lot of them have used their youth council experience to then go and work at the State House, or actually some are working in Washington, or got that some good experience, just leadership and policy change and things like that. So that might be helpful as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I'm writing that down as we speak. So I think that's a great idea, and I'll definitely do that. And another thing that I wanted to reach out to talk about was that, like, not just doing one post, but a series of posts. And I feel like that we could incorporate those like quote unquote testimonials almost about, and like quotes about the youth council from past alumni. So I feel like that's a great thing that we can do.
Ollie, do you think you could reach out to Mr. Pavian to see if he could join the communication subcommittee next week?
Yes, I think that's a great idea. I'll do that actually right after this meeting. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, because it really kind of coming up with a plan to reach out to each of those, because that is part of how many people here have had to do a civics project, either in 8th grade or your junior year? Okay, I'm seeing some hands raised, yes. So a lot, that's a big part of the Massachusetts education standards and civics. And a lot of students want to make those projects a reality, and the youth council is a good avenue for that. So that's where a lot of them are working on that now. So the timing could work well. So having him part of the conversation will be helpful.
Okay, so moving on, do we have any updates for liaisons? No, okay. Ellie, do you have an update for the communications subcommittee?
We've touched upon most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about in regards to the communications and outreach subcommittee. The only other thing would be the youth interest survey. It's now in its I put it in its final stages, and hopefully it'll be sent out in the following month in May. So hopefully that will be sent out then. And thank you to all of you that have given me liaison related questions. And we will be talking more about this at the communications outreach subcommittee next week. So thank
you. Yeah, and we could also put the Google form that you made onto like our link tree, and also promote it through like an Instagram post or things like that too.
Yes.
Moving on to announcements. So besides the vote, Mr. Chines, are there any other updates from town council?
Sure, a couple of things. So as you all probably saw, we did have our town election on Tuesday. So on the town council, there were 2 seats that were up, and Councillor Maureen Butt and Councillor Ed Dombrowski were reelected. There were also 2 seats up on the school committee, and Kevin Piscadlo, who's an incumbent member of the school committee, was reelected, and Pete Davis was elected as a new member. And then we had elections for almost every other board, a seat on the planning board where we have a new member. Kevin York will be joining the planning board, reelected. Candace Linehan to the Board of Health, reelected our town clerk and our town moderator. So, we've kind of concluded the election season with, some new faces coming on to some of our boards and committees, and also some returning faces, which is great. We're turning our attention now, as I mentioned last time, to town meeting. So town meeting will be the 15th of May. It's a Monday night at 7 o'clock at the Galvin. We have a pretty full warrant that will cover both, votes on all of the budgetary items that we cover every year in the spring town meeting. We also have, every 5 years, we have a process where we go through all of the town's bylaws and make some revisions. We have a committee that focuses on that. And so the first round of bylaw changes that committee's proposed will be in front of town meeting as well. So lot to cover. It should be interesting, and I know I've mentioned before, anyone who's registered to vote is welcome to participate. But also, if you're not old enough to vote, you're still welcome to attend and watch and get an idea of what's going on. So that's what we have on our plate right now.
Thank you for the update. Yeah, so for my announcements, I had the annual town meeting too, which is May 15th at 7 p.m. at the Galvin, like you said. And then also the email that Catherine sent to me about how they introduced a youth climate council for, I think, Massachusetts, right? And applications are due May 19th, and they're open to any high school students. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can probably reach out to Catherine.
Vanessa, do you have everyone's email address, or should I send that out to the whole council?
I have everyone's information, but I don't know if you just wanted to forward it or I can send an
I'll
email.
I'll just forward it to the whole
Okay.
youth council in case anyone's interested in applying to that.
Mhm. And then the only other update or announcement I had was Sherry Oken from the Wakefield Human Rights Commission reached out to me because they're having a ton of new events, and I actually might have one of their members come to speak at a future meeting. But they're having a Juneteenth flag raising, they're having a Pride flag raising, and some other Pride events maybe in uh, June. And then she also reached out to me about her Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month event. So this will be happening May 27th, which is a Saturday, from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Civic Center. And she would like any volunteers for, she has a few different opportunities. So she said that they're having like a fashion show. So if people have any ethnic clothing that would be applicable that they would like to wear to the event, they can do so and like explain the significance and like kind of have a script. And I'll send more information out after the meeting too. And she also needs a few people to research some information about Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Um, and also they're having like a Jeopardy game that they would need help with. And lastly, they expect to have like some origami making. So if you would like to like instruct people to do that, it sounds like a good event. They might have like a henna artist, I heard, come in, some people like sharing some of their like backgrounds, and some people I think are doing some speeches, different things like that. So it seems like a really great event coming up. So if anyone's interested, I'll have more information. And I know our schedules are kind of crazy, so I'll give a reminder as we get closer to the date. But that was my last announcement. I don't know if anyone had any other updates. Okay, so moving on, for determining our next meeting date, again, I know the end of the school year can kind of get a little crazy, but May 10th is our next half day. So if we wanted to do an in-person meeting, I think then would be a good date. But Catherine, I don't know if you had any ideas.
What date did you suggest?
May 10th,
Is that, and that's the early release?
yes.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay. So just check your emails and text about that, but kind of have that date in your head. Was there anything else that we missed that we should discuss tonight? Okay. So in that case, do I have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
I motion.
Do I have a second?
I
I
second.
second.
Okay, I'm gonna just go down the list now. Ahmed Othman,
Yes.
Aliyah Tui,
Yes.
Ala Othman,
Yes.
Juliana Spalding,
Yes.
Madeline Napier,
Yes.
Maya Pollock,
Yes.
Matt O'Brien, I don't think he's here. Sadie Lomnack,
Yes.
Sophia Panaghetti,
Yes.
and Thomas Baranata.
Yes.
Okay, that concludes today's meeting. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Bye.